Okay, good morning, everyone. Yeah, on the previous meeting, we have learned about Chapter 5, Lesson 3, the formal definition of antiderivative and indefinite integral. And the objective of the previous lesson is for you to know what is the definition of indefinite integral, which is basically indefinite integral is the same name, is another name for antiderivative, and how to write integral properly. Yeah. So this is how you write integral properly. Integral of the integrand dx. So for example, integral of x power 5 dx is actually equal to 1 over 6 x power 6 plus c. Don't forget the plus c when you have indefinite integral. And why is it like that? Because the derivative of 1 over 6 x power 6 plus c is equals to x power 5. Yeah. So I want to repeat again the mathematical definition of indefinite integral. Gx is equal to the integral of fx dx if and only if g prime x, the derivative of gx with respect to x, is equal to fx. Yeah. So that's from the previous meeting. And today I want to continue still on the same lesson, chapter 5, lesson 3. But now we're going to learn about the properties that is applicable when we want to evaluate, when we want to integrate indefinite integral. Okay, so now open your book, page 198. Page 198. So because the indefinite integral is basically another name for antiderivative, which comes from the derivative. So basically, most of the properties that is applicable for derivative will be also applicable for indefinite integral and definite integral. Yeah. For example, the first property that I wanna discuss today is the integral of a constant times a function. So for example, if gx is equal to the integral of coefficient times fx dx, then actually it's also equal to the coefficient, can go out from the integral sign, integral of fx dx. Yeah, and the example given by your book is, for example, integral of 5 cos x dx, yeah, is basically equal to 5 times the integral of cos x dx. And what function when you derive the result is cosine? The function is sine x plus c, don't forget. Okay, so that's the first property, integral of a constant times a function. And then the second one is integral of a sum of several functions. So for example, if for example hx is equal to the integral of fx plus gx dx, then actually you can separate it. Yeah, it becomes integral of fx dx plus integral of gx dx. Okay, example given by your book is, for example, integral of x power 5 plus secant square x minus x dx. Then actually this can be separated into integral of x power 5 dx plus integral of secant square dx, secant square x dx, minus integral of x dx. Yeah, and then you find the antiderivative of each of this expression, which is then you get 1 over 6 x power 6 plus tangent x minus half x squared, and don't forget the plus c. Now the plus c can be just combined until you get the final answer. Yeah, so you don't need to do, I'm sorry, You don't need to do plus C here, plus C here. So you don't need to do multiple times of plus C. Just do it once when you get the final answer. Okay? Okay. So now I want to emphasize, yeah, listen carefully. I want to emphasize that when you have the integral of the product of two functions, yeah, when you have this, then actually it's not equal to the integral of each function being multiplied. Yeah, this is not applicable. You cannot do that. Remember when we learn about derivative, product of two function, the derivative of u times v is not u prime times v prime, right? But it's u prime v plus u v prime. So it's also not applicable for integral, yeah, because basically a derivative and integral have the same properties. So the integral of fx times gx dx is not equal to the integral of fx dx times the integral of gx dx. Okay, so don't ever separate the integral when you have a multiplication of two functions. But if it's a multiplication of a constant, then of course you can separate it. I mean, you can put the constant outside, like the property number 1. Okay? Okay. So now you need to, I'm gonna give you several examples that you will need to see. Yeah, now let's look at example 1, page 199. Evaluate integral of 5 cosine 5x plus 3 dx. Yeah. So now when you do the integral, you need to be careful if it is a composite function. Like this is a composite function, right? The integrand is the composite function, which is cos x is the outside function, and the inside function is 5x plus 3. Yeah. So remember, in derivative, if it's composite function, then we have a chain rule. So the chain rule is the derivative of inside function. Now you need to be careful when we are talking about integral. When you want to integrate something, then you need to be careful with the derivative of the inside function. Yeah. Now the outside function is cos in this case. Well, let's put the 5 outside first. Cosine 5x plus 3 dx. Okay. Now we know that the integral of cosine is sine, right? So let's put sine 5x plus 3 here. Now be careful when you try, if you just write it like this, then basically if you try to derive it to check your answer, then it's not correct. Then if you derive this, the result is actually 25 sine 5x plus 3 instead of 5 cosine 5x plus 3, right? Why? Because there is the derivative, the multiplication of the derivative of inside function. So in this case, you really need to nullify the chain rule. How? By multiplying it with 1 over 5. Yeah. So when that happens, the result will be sine 5x plus 3. Don't forget the plus. Now you need to check, is the derivative of sine 5x plus 3 is equal to 5 cosine 5x plus 3? The answer is yes. So be careful when you have a function you want to integrate where it is a composite function. Be careful with the derivative of the inside function. Okay? And then move on to the next property. The next property is the integral of a power function. Yeah, integral of a power function. So in your book, page 200, it's written that the integral of u power of n du is equal to, of course, x power of 4, the integral will come from x power 5 and then multiply by the 1 over 5 to cancel the constant, right? Cancel the coefficient, right? So it's also the same. So it's gonna be 1 over n plus 1 times u power of n plus 1. Of course, plus c. Okay? It means that the integral of x power of 10 dx will be equal to, the n is 10, so 1 over 11, x power of 11 plus c. Yeah. Now let's look at example 2. Example 2 is integral of 7x plus 4 power of 9 dx. Now this is a composite function. Again, be careful with the chain rule. Be careful with the derivative of the inside function. So the outside function is a power function, right? So of course, then we can just do the outside function first. Then it's basically, it's power of 9, so it's 1 over 10, 7x plus 4 power of 10, right? And then if you try to derive, then actually it's not, it does not become 7x plus 4 power of 9, but there is the times 7 as the derivative of the inside function. Yeah, so you need to multiply with 1 over 7 to cancel the multiplication with the derivative of inside function. So the result will be 1 over 70, 7x plus 4 power of 10 plus c. So like I said, you always need to be careful when you want to integrate a composite function. If it is just a singular function like this, or a single function like this, like this, like this, then actually you can just go through it. Or like, even like this. Okay? So that's the power function. And then the last one is the integral of the exponential function. Yeah, integral of the exponential function. Now let me review first. If you have fx equals a power function, if you have fx is equal to, let's say, a power of x, then what's the derivative? Then the derivative is actually equal to a power of x ln a, right? So basically, the derivative of exponential function is the exponential function itself multiplied by a certain coefficient, a certain constant. Yeah, it means that if we want to integrate a power of x, an exponential function, then of course the result is a power of x itself, the exponential function itself, but you need to divide it by the constant, then a. Yeah. Yes. Don't forget the plus. So it means that the integral of e power of x dx, of course, it will be e power of x dx, e power of x itself. Because e power of x is the derivative of is e power of x, then of course the integral is also e power of x. Okay. Now example, let's see example 3. Example 3, the integral of e power of negative 2x dx. Again, be careful. This is a composite function. So because this is an exponential function with a natural number as a base, so then it will be itself. But remember, when you derive e power of 2x, there is the multiplication of negative 2, right? So to nullify that, we need to divide with negative 2. So it's basically negative half e power of negative 2x plus c. Okay. And then the next example, example 4, when you have integral of 5 power of x dx, then actually just following the formula, it will be 5 power of x divided by 5 plus c. Okay. So that's all the basic properties that you need to know about indefinite integral. The first one is a multiplication of with a constant. The second one is the sum of several functions. The third one is the power function, the integral of power function. And the fourth one is the integral of exponential function. And then the last is be really, really careful and aware if the integrand is a composite function. You need to check. Don't forget to nullify the derivative of the inside function. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.